I'll do that too. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. Just had a busy day today. Had to get all the cars washed and everything, but pretty good. My day's going good. I'm actually getting close to my challenge, so I'm pretty excited about that. June 1st. Well, if I'm capping it at 90 days when I start, from start to finish, like what my 90-day time frame, I should be at around 27,000 when I finish. But I'm starting with $2,000 on June 1st, and I'm probably just gonna be trading SPY and trying to do $300 a day. Because if I can do $300 a day for the next 90 days, that should be 27,000, 28,000, somewhere around there. So 2,000 to 27,000, call it, in 3 months. Yeah, so I'm gonna be live trading with Trent. Yeah. If I can hit that 27,000 mark, that's enough for 100 shares of SPY, mind you. He's gonna start in a bit. Yes, I sell options. It'll be on Trent's Zoom. Yeah, I'll just be talking. Really, Trent will have the ticker up. I'll just be talking. Yeah, it's safe for trading the shares, honestly. Because the big boys, they hold shares of SPY and only trade options as insurance, if you get what I mean. So like, let's say there's a red day in the market, and they're down on their positions that day for the shares, they'll go and trade some options to make up for that loss, if you get what I mean. So they're using that options as insurance. That's how your institutional traders and hedge funds do it. How's the strategy big goal for you guys? So good. Because it's almost like, I don't want to say you can never lose, because you do have those choppy days, but it's almost like you can never lose. if you just have patience. Yeah, crazy fake outs yesterday. And that's what I wanted you guys. I'm glad you guys got to experience that using a strategy so you could understand what I mean when there's just like when I say the strategy doesn't work, you know, almost all the time. I won't say almost all the time, but there will be those days when it doesn't work. And those days will only be when it's just choppy. So you just have like fake outs back and forth. And then, you know, if there's a Fed day, a Fed day or something, you know, that's when it's just sideways or something. That's only when the strategy won't work, like on sideways choppy days. Yeah, there'll be other tickers that take off. But if you're just trying to trade this with SPY, you know, because knowing that SPY gets choppy a lot of the time. I'm gonna wait for about like for it to get to 40 because I know there's like about 50 people that normally join and then it goes up. 2 out of 3, nice. Yeah, what do you guys hit ratio, your accuracy percentage using the trade so far? How many green trades? How many red trades? If you guys can, if you guys logged it, nice. And were the green ninja? Were there green days bigger than that red day that you took? You ended green overall. Same for you, Danny. Did you end green overall, even though you took a loss? That's what we aim for. Same for you, Hassan. You ended green overall too, huh? And yeah, exactly. It gets you more comfortable holding on because it's almost like you know. It's not like you know what's going to happen, but you have your confirmations of what's happening, and if anything happens contrary to that, you know what to do. Nice. You guys should all be green for the week if you started to use the strategy and just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything up. If what you're doing right now is working for you and you guys are ending up green, just keep it up. Exploit it. Turn that week to months, and then that months to years, and then that years to decades. Exploit whatever you're doing that's working. Less stress. Yep. So if you miss a runner, it's like oh well, I'll just wait for my strategy to show me something because 9 times out of 10 it has to pull back. Like Spotify, it has to pull back. So you guys should just keep that on watch, you know, for that sell signal when you do catch it. What I'll do is I'll do Roku because I know I signaled Roku last couple of days, and that one played out so fucking perfect. Fucking Danny, you and Penn. That shit's probably gonna keep running. To be honest, the next Beyond or something. He's watching Penn. Don't even ask him what he's watching this week. He's watching Penn. All right, we're gonna get started soon. 5 more people. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna show you guys today. Today is everybody in here? All right, we'll start. Today we're gonna be going over how I set up my watch list, and then after we go over that and you know how the steps around that, we're gonna go over examples and we're gonna use whatever you guys are watching for next week, and we are also gonna go over that Roku trade that somebody asked me to do. So yeah, but mind you guys. Yes, we are gonna chart. I'm gonna chart your tickers for next week, but just keep in mind whatever the market does, one of your sides may trigger come Tuesday. Come Tuesday when we open. You get what I mean? So like if let's say we set some alerts right now and then the market gaps up, your call side may trigger already and at that pre-market Tuesday. So just don't rely on these alerts that we're gonna chart to necessarily trade with if the market gaps up or down crazy. But if the market stays within these ranges come Tuesday, then these alerts that we charted today hold its weight. Or stocks that I run over the weekend. I mean, I do look. There's stocks that I look at over the weekend. As far as charting goes, you guys will see at what time I specifically do my charting. But there's just I start to look at tickers before I actually dive into charting. I just look at like hot tickers and all that, tickers that sold off crazy, tickers that stayed sideways, and tickers that had crazy news around it, like Facebook and all that. But let's get started. So setting up a watch list with levels. So what we're doing is we're taking all the major levels and where price seem to test before either pushing to the upside, breaking resistance levels, or pushing to the downside, testing support levels. So we're going intraday in the market and we're literally looking for every time the stock tested a support level and bounced, and every time the stock tested a resistance level and bounced. This is how we're getting our levels. The time frame I like to use are a 30-day, 15-minute time frame to see how many times price tested a level in the past, just to confirm how strong the level will be. I like to use a line chart to get way more accurate levels. I say I like to use a line chart because a line chart gives you the close of each candle, pretty much. It gives you the close. So all I have to look at is the close and look at how many times it closed out at that level in the past to see, if it was a strong level. How to get accurate levels. Since we get our levels by looking for intraday support and resistance, we want to look for levels where price, like I said, tested and broke to the upside or downside. So while you're going intraday, you want to look for, where price consolidated a bit and then popped, and then consolidated and then popped, whether this is to the upside or this is to the downside. You want to look for those intraday mini consolidations. This is to get accurate levels. Sometimes the level could be 10 or 20 cents away from another heavy level to the upside or downside. You want to chart that, as that is important too. I say this because the goal is to be able to use these levels to guide our positions to our desired profit targets and not speculate targets. So what I say this to say, I'm using these specific nitty intraday type of levels. So when I enter a call at my trigger level, I'll know, okay, at this level, price consolidated, and it either, if I'm in calls, it either broke above or it either, broke to the downside. So it either consolidated and rejected before in the past, or it consolidated and broke above in the past. So we're coming back and we're retesting this level. And if we consolidate and break above, I'll know to stay in my calls to test the next upper level, because this level was a critical level. Same thing goes for the puts. If you're in your puts and you're looking for levels on the downside or your support levels, you'll know that these intraday levels consolidated and pop to the downside, and then consolidate and pop to the downside. So if I'm in my puts at my trigger level, I'll know, okay, my first target hit that consolidation target and that pop, and the second target hit, so to speak, or the second target will be up next. These are your need to knows. I like to chart at 2:30 a.m. because that's when stock updates for their price. So that's somebody asked me, do I chart over the weekend? Not necessarily. I like to look at tickers to get ready to chart for when that 2:30 a.m. I say a.m. because 2:30 a.m. I'm in a Pacific Standard Time range, so that's when stocks update their price. Where do you go to see them? Hold on, let me see. My sleeping schedule is all messed up. It's all messed up. I hardly get any sleep. Sometimes I'll sleep like an afternoon after the market closes. I'll get a nap in here and there. And that nap can last me. Like, I'll be up the whole night if I take a nap, which is kind of why I hate naps. But um any questions regarding that before I continue? No questions. I'll continue now. If I'm looking for calls, if I'm looking to take calls, I'm looking for wherever price is currently at around 2:30 in the morning. So once that 2:30 hits, if you guys want to test this out, go on, where I don't think or swim updates, but I do know StockTwits updates their price and sometimes their charts. So you want to go and look at whatever source that gives you updated charting prices and look at your charting prices. Sometimes though, if the market gapped up, they'll gap up, and then they'll be at a new range that you can chart, or they'll gap down and they'll be at a new range where you can chart, or they'll stay sideways. They'll do one of those things, but regardless of what they do, you'll be able to get levels unless they make a crazy new all-time high that they've never been at before. So again, at around 2:30 a.m., I'm looking for prices to update, and that's what I'm charting. So I'm looking at the intraday levels in the past, and I'm looking to see where price tested resistance multiple times before breaking above. This is if I'm taking calls. And that first level that I see, at a major resistance level, so to speak, if the market was sideways, open sideways, I would know, okay, it's consolidating, and I know there's a certain level just above that is a heavy resistance level, and if price breaks above this level, it'll fly. So that first level, I'll chart it as my trigger level. So price has to break above that level and hold. I'll know that it'll once it breaks above and hold, I'll know it'll confirm as a sort of, you can call it a breakout, so to speak. If I'm looking for puts, I'm applying the same method I would for calls, but instead I'd be looking for all intraday support levels to the downside. So the first level I chart would be my trigger level for puts, for my support level. So I'll look for where price is sitting at a heavy support level. If it's there, or if it's trading sideways, I'll look for where that next, major support level it's at before it, takes major legs down. And at that level that I see, I'll chart it. Are there any questions regarding that? Uh, yes, that's perfect. It updates and it's next to the previous stay close. That's perfect. If the charts update and you can see that it's next to the previous stay close. I'm gonna show examples. I just want to get through the explanation first. So if I'm looking to enter calls, I'm gonna look. Let's say the market opened sideways, right? SPY opened sideways pre-market, and cash market opened sideways. There's obviously going to be a resistance level, a major resistance level at the top that the market, let's use SPY for example, that SPY needs to break before it flies to the upside. And then there obviously will be a major support level at the bottom that SPY needs to break before it starts to fall. And when it starts to fall, that's when it starts to hit, the upcoming support levels below, or when it starts to fly, that's when it starts to hit the upcoming resistance levels above. So at those 2 points, before they drop or fly, is where I chart my trigger level. That's where I set my trigger level to enter. So to continue, I only enter my trigger alert position once that level triggers and holds. If I'm watching price on a 5-minute time frame, I like to wait for the next candle to open near or above my trigger level if I'm going for calls. If it so again, a good example of SPY is at like 280.10, and that's my 280.11 is my trigger level. I'm not going to enter calls until 280.11 has broken and held. So if price broke 280.11 and then say the next candle opened up at 280.16, that'll confirm, okay, we held above my trigger level. I'm going to take calls and look to hit my next price target level above, which is that next resistance level that I charted intraday on my 30-day 30-day 15-minute. So if I'm going for puts, I want my trigger level to trigger and hold near or under my charted level that I charted before I take my position. Are there any questions around this? No questions. So you guys understand how the trigger levels work and when to enter. I personally, I like to buy the middle And if I'm buying the mid, I like to buy, I go like $1 or $2 above what they're asking for just to be sure I get executed. But I mean, Tastyworks executions is pretty perfect. But like, just to be safe, I like to go $1 or $2 above the middle price. I never like to buy the bid because like it's hard to get filled to the bid. And I don't like to buy the ask because you know you never want to buy the ask because the position can go against you, and then you know you're caught at buying the high as far as you know the bid ask goes. So I like to buy the mid, but just go add on $1 or $2 extra just to make sure I get filled. So I'm going to show you guys examples. Let me share my screen. Okay, so you all can see the screen. Let me know. Yes, I would use that trigger level as my stop loss. So I would use, yes, exactly. I would use, so if I got in at that trigger level, then I would use that level as my stop loss as well to get out, because I would know, okay, anything under this trigger level, if I'm in calls, you know, I know that this trigger level is a heavy resistance. So anything under it, it's not going to break to the upside. So I shouldn't take calls. And the same thing goes for puts. That's if the spread is big. How about if the spread is 1 or 2 cents? Yeah, if the spread is 1 or 2 cents, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Like if you can get filled at the middle, then that's perfect. Or if you can get filled at the limit, at your own limit, then that's, you know, even better. Price, but are you talking about these, Juan? This is the AutoFib script. It's in session 8. If you go back to session 8, then you'll see. So we're going to use SPY as a first example of what I'm talking about. If I'm going to set a trigger level for calls, and then I'm going to take you guys' requests. But how I would chart my levels. So let's say we're going into Tuesday, right? This is Friday. This is all of what SPY did. And again, we are on a 30-day, 15-minute time frame. So it's just 15 minutes worth of action. So just looking at SPY, where SPY left off, we left off at around 295.60. So I'm gonna look at that, and then I'll say, okay, I see that price in after hours bounced there, you know, near 295.46 level or range, and then bounced up. So that's I'm gonna keep that in my head. If I'm now scrolling back on my mouse here, going back in time, we can see that we have a resistance here near 295.51. So now I'm going to write down, okay, looking back in time, price rejected at 295.51, and it tested that that range a couple times before rejecting nicely. So now I'm going to go back even more, and I'm going to keep that 295.51 level in my head. So I'm going to go back even more. And if I'm going back even more, I can see that price was testing, you know, near that 295.51 level, and it was getting rejected. So that 295.51 level, you know, seemed to hold some sort of weight to it. So I'm going to keep that in my mind. I'm going to keep that in my head, and I'm going to go back more in time. As we can see here, price started to hold near this 295.51 level and bounce, and, you know, started to reject under it, but eventually, you know, started to reclaim it. So this 295.50 level is starting to hold some importance to me. So I'm going to write that level down to trigger. And if we just look back in time again, that level has been tested multiple times. So it's a pretty strong level. So as far as support goes on SPY, if I'm looking to see if SPY is going to break to the upside or downside, my major level I'm going to watch right now, since SPY is at 295.60, just to give it some room. Just to give it some room, I'm going to say, and again, I'm using lines. So these red lines are indicating a sell-off, and these green lines are indicating the stock getting bought up, uptrend. So I'm just looking for it where it bounced, where these close happened multiple times. And it looks like it happened near that. Okay, let's do that and then go back. Yeah, let's go back even more. Yeah, so 295. 295.41, I would say, is good. Yeah. So I would set 295.41 as my trigger alert for puts on SPY. That's my first level I would set. So let me actually write that down in my notes, and I'll tell you guys why I did that and the levels to come. So so if I said we were looking for calls, we're switch that up right now. Let's look for puts, because right now SPY's ran up too much, and we're gonna look for some puts first before we look for more upside. So 295.41. Now, if you guys trade SPY, you understand that SPY doesn't always bounce exactly at that key level that we charted, to the T, but it bounces near it. So we just want to keep that in mind. So if we break 295.41, let's see what levels we can see below it, where price, consolidated a bit before, making a big move. Okay. I see we have a bounce here, but now let's go back in time. So now you see that we had a bounce here on a Friday. Normally you would probably chart that level, but if you go, this is why I say use a 30-day time frame, because you want to look at more data to see where price actually bounced before making a big move. You want to see how many times it tested that level. So if I'm going back in time, I can see that SPY started to bounce, near 294.91. But if I go back more in time, it started to bounce a little bit higher. That's where those, mini incremental levels come from. That's where they come in play. So 295.24 is where I'm starting to see another bounce. $295.16. Okay, that makes sense. So that 295.20 range is kind of making sense. Okay, 295.30. What's this? Okay, see that 295.20 again is that range is making more sense. All right, it doesn't look like we tested it a couple more days back. So my next level I chart is 295.29, because if I'm looking here, we have a nice leg down if we reject there, and if we go more up ahead, yeah, that it's bounced there just a couple of times, but that's a clear resistance level, because we started to get some nice consolidation at that range. So I would chart my next level below would be 295.29. Are there any questions as to how I'm getting these and as to why I'm getting these? Or is it making sense to you guys? Make sense? Good. Because look, let's say SPY opened Tuesday and then just opened here at let's say we opened here at 295.81. Would you guys take puts here or what? What would you guys do? No, let's say we have a bias right now. We're only looking to take puts. We haven't charted our calls yet. We're just looking to take puts right now since we have so far we're charting our puts. So would you take puts here at 295.81 or Burhan? You're correct. Watch and see, you're correct. Emilian, you're correct as well. Gloria, you're correct. Jay, you're correct. At what point would you guys take puts? Saying that you guys had a put bias, saying that SPY is way too extended, this needs to sell off. At what point would you guys take puts? Mark, you're correct. 295.51. Or is that what we charted? 295.41. 41. 4-1. Yeah, 4-1. You were there, but 10 cents off. What if SPY was at 295.42? Would you guys take puts? Why? Why not? Exactly. And again, I'm only using the lines, my line chart to get my levels. But when I'm going into trading, then I'll switch back to candles because that's when you have to look at your individual candles to see if price opens and holds, at that next candle, because your lines won't show you that. It'll just show you a line for that duration of that period. Knowing in the moment I get hype and try to get in early. Yeah, because like if you get hype and try to get in early and knowing how SPY works, you get these little nasty, mini bounces every single time. So let's say we had that 295.41. Let's say we had tested that level before, right? Let's look for it. Yeah, like 295.41. Let's just say right here, right? We bounced there before, and in the past we've bounced there. So you have to anticipate that SPY will always bounce around there, and you want to break under there and hold to confirm that, okay, bears have a grasp at this. That's now a clear resistance. Price is unable to break above there, because if price broke and held above 295.41, then it will be in that uptrend. It will be holding essentially above the 21 EMA. And what happens, guys, if we hold above that 21 EMA? We could potentially do what? Test which EMA above? The 9, right? And what happens if we test and hold that 9 EMA? Calls. Because what is this 21 EMA acting as for us? And then on top of that, what do we see here? Correct. So let me tell you guys how we now use that EMA as our support and resistance strategy, plus our sell signal developing strategy, plus the level strategy, all in one. So remember how I said I would take puts below 295.41? That's breaking this level, right? That's breaking this 21 EMA, correct? And what happens when we break under the 21 EMA? We have to test which EMA. Yes, we can go down and test this 55. So when we get in those puts at the break of 295.41, we're writing this whole price down to potentially test this 55 and trying to see if we can break under it to trigger a sell. Now, what happens if price breaks under that 55 and cannot hold above? Puts. But why would you take puts? What would that signal if price is under your 55 EMA? Your downtrend. Now, as price is under that 55 EMA, what happens to your 9? Isn't that 9 that leading indicator? What would your 9 start to do? Your 9 would cross your 21, correct? So now you would get your confirmation that, okay, we're going to start to look to get puts. But mind you, we're already 2 steps ahead of the game. We've already got puts based on our levels. But that cross would just give you that confirmation like, okay, now I see why I took puts at that 295.41 break. And if price doesn't break above 295.41 and keeps going down and breaks, our underlying levels that we have triggered, price will keep breaking under these EMA. And what will happen? It'll cause your 9 to what? Cross even lower, correct? Thus giving you guys what? A sell signal, correct? And so once you get that sell signal, you would know, okay, now I'm just going to let this ride, because you would already have caught and made money on your moves, just on your confirmation moves, I like to call it, going down to get that ultimate major trigger level or that trigger signal being your put signal on your EMA. SPY. I like to trade SPY on a 5-minute throughout the day. Yes. So on a 5-minute, these EMAs will react way more quicker, and we probably have a sell signal on a 5-minute developing. Let's see. Okay, let's see. What do we have here on a 5-minute? Can somebody tell me what they see here going into after hours on the 5-minute? Is that 295.41 level making more sense now? Is that 295.41 level making more sense now? So what happens if we go under that 55 EMA? Sell signal. It's so like, I want to, it's so overwhelming how crazy this shit goes together and how crazy it works. Like, it's just it's mind boggling. I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything. I'm literally right now sitting here, I'm shocked myself. Like, it's crazy. So that 295.41 level made sense. I literally found this out just by messing around with SPY for 4 years and just look and understanding how exactly it trades and moves and where it bounces and why and how many times it bounced. Tracking this thing for 4 years straight. So you guys get what I mean. So now remember when we broke that 295.41, our next level below was 295.29. Remember, before price decided to try and bounce. Remember? So let's go down. Let's look for 295.29. What's that, guys? What's that? Hold on. Let me go back. 295.29, right? Like around right there, right? Resistance. And if we break under that, this, don't even worry about this. This is weak. But that 295.29 is now making more sense, correct? And while we're testing that, we've already developed our sell signal, because once this green line comes back down, it's going to drag this line right under there. And once it drags it right under there, what does that give us? A fucking sell signal. So we are catching these moves down, and this is our sell signal on a 5-minute. If we can eventually break down and eventually break under that 294.54, or not even 294.54, but 294.76, I bet you that 15-minute would flip into a hard sell signal. And that will just confirm, your underlying levels below for puts. And now this can work for, levels above for calls. So we can chart that, but you guys understand how this works, right? And why it works, right? And you understand combining your EMA buy or sell signal as well as your support and resistance using your EMAs, right? You guys understand how to combine those and how and why they work and why we combine those, correct? Good. Now, let's take tickers from anyone. First, before I do that, because you guys are gonna start spamming, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Do I have any questions? What if it was squeezing? Okay, so that's a good question. We can take levels for calls, but I would show you guys how I would chart, or I can chart levels for calls. You guys want me to chart levels for calls for SPY to see if a TTM was squeezing or something like that, to see what will be next? All right. So what will be next? You guys can write these levels down too to see on Tuesday if SPY opens at these levels that we charted, if the call side hit, if anything. So let's go back to our 15-minute. I'm gonna chart. I'll probably, since SPY's ATR is probably $45, $4 to $5 on a normal day, I'll chart about $5 to $6 worth of SPY. Or I'll just chart $4 to $5 worth of SPY. How about that? You guys okay with that? No, I don't. No, I don't have a bias on the stock before it's opening. That's where this watch list comes into play. Because right now, we were just charting our put side, and now we want to keep note of that put side. Now we're gonna chart our call side. I keep no bias on these stocks, and that's the best part about the strategy, and the best part about the watch list and setting your levels. You don't keep a bias. You just play whichever level triggers. So now we're back on the 15-minute. Let me do this charting, guys. Give me some time. So we're looking for call side. All right. I may remove my EMAs just to have this much more clear. Nah, fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna remove my EMAs for you guys. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna remove the EMAs real quick, just so I can have this way more clear. Perfect. Perfect. That's a gap. That's a that's a nice push up. 296.15. I'm seeing that level a lot. And again, we're nearing the all-time highs for this month. Okay. Let's just call it, yeah. If we break above there, we can see. $296.39. If we break above there, wow. Okay. 296.81. 296.81. 296.81. 296.81. Haven't tested that previously. So like around 296.78. And then if we break above that, $296.93. Yeah, we have some nice levels to break. It's probably gonna be some chop, but the chop will be like to the upside, if you guys get what I mean. That's a nasty chop to get through too. It'll be like 297.05. Probably do that. 297.29. That seems reasonable, but this is chop zone, so that will be a hard level to break. 297.20. Break above that, you can see 297.41. If we break above that, we could say 297.59. If you break above that, you can see 297.77 literally. Okay, now I have to go back more. And like that's a fib level too, so that makes perfect sense. It's a gap. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go further back now. Let me flip this to a 90-day real quick and then just see if we can get $2 more real quick. Okay, perfect. Perfect. That 297 is going to be some heavy resistance, by the way. 297.57, that's going to be some heavy resistance. But if we can break through that, I believe we can gap. But let's see. Yeah, it's going to be some heavy resistance. So 297.77. Hold on, guys. I can't see the chat real quick. I'm trying to get a couple more levels. 298.15. I might have to break this down on a 5-minute too for this. Hold on, 297.77. Is it gonna gap that hard? Okay, guys, you see, when I start asking that question to myself, like from 298 like 15 to like 298.88, and I don't see anything, in between that, I start thinking, okay, there may be some news coming that they might push to, cause a gap. There may be some news. So I'm just gonna cap it off at 298.15. But did you guys get how I did that? Yeah, market's gonna be bullish once we pass 300. But so far I got it from 295 to 298. 295.77 to 298.15. So if so for my calls, let me go back. We can stay on this. So for my calls on SPY, sorry about that. We have to break above 295.77. That's my trigger level. 295.77. If we break above 295.77, we can see 296. If we break and hold 296, we can see 296.19. If we break above 296.19 and hold, we can see 296.39. If we break above 296.39 and hold, we can see 296.78. If we break above 296.78 and hold, we can see 296.93. If we break above 296.93 and hold, 297.05 is up next. If we can hold that level, 297.20 is up next. If we can hold that level, 297.41 is up next. If we can hold that level, 297.59 is up next. If we can hold that level, 297.77 is up next. And then if we can hold that level, 298.15 is up next. Were you guys able to write all that down? So just keep these levels in mind, just in case to see what happens on Tuesday for SPY. I'm gonna chart more levels for puts because we barely got any levels for puts, but that's the levels for calls. If SPY does break to the upside, then let's see if these levels test. You guys can go back and then look at SPY pre-market if it did a pre-market or if it did a cash session and see if these levels do test. We can get put levels. The only levels we have for put right now are our trigger levels and our first target level. We don't have a lot of levels for puts, but you guys want us to get put levels for SPY before we start taking separate tickers? Danny, make that 277 your trigger level, your trigger alert. And everything past that are your targets in mind. So we have 295.77, then 296, then 296.19. So let's get levels for puts real quick. So we had 295.41 being our trigger level for puts. So now let's look on, okay. So if we can break below that, we'll probably bounce. Let me get this down real quick. Mm. 290. Okay, that's interesting. $293.59. I'm gonna keep that in mind. $293.59. $293.59. $293.59. $293.59. We seem to bounce near. Like 293.76. Oh, that'll be a nasty leg. Let's see. Oh, that 293.76. Let's see what's next below. Okay, we bounced near 293.46. So that's not going to be a nasty leg. Previous levels are showing me that we bounced. That's why I take those mini incremental levels because they matter. 293. Well, we actually hold near 293.25. Yeah. And then this Fibonacci level, of course, keep this in mind. 292.91. Exactly, we bounced there before. If we break lower, 292.81. And then that's when we start hitting like crazy support near like 254. I'm gonna cap it at 292. Let's do 292.37. Boom. All right. So our levels for puts on SPY. Our trigger level will be 295.41. So if SPY breaks under and holds 295.41, and we already found out our reason why. If SPY breaks under and holds 295.41, our targets in mind are 295.29. Now, I would have already gotten my puts at the confirmation of that 295.41. So targets in mind, 295.29, if that can hold, 295.05, if that can hold, 294.88, if that can hold, 294.50, if that can hold, 294.27, if that can hold, 294.03, if that can hold, 293.93. Next level would be 293.76. The next level under would be 293.46. The next level under that would be 293.25. The next level under that, 292.91, 292.81, then 292.54, then 292.37. So if my put level triggered at 295.41 and confirmed and held under, I would take it and I will be making money as I look to hit my first target, 295.29. And if that target hits, boom, I already made money. So let's say that target hit and didn't hold and confirm under, I would then get out with profits. But let's say that target hit and held under, then I'll look to get my next target to hit, which is 295.05. So while SPY is dropping to that target, you're making money. So if that 295.05 hits, and let's say it doesn't hold, you can still sell for even more profit because 2 targets hit already. But if that 295 holds, okay, now you still hold your position and let it ride to your next target. You get what I mean? Are there any questions regarding this? Why I had 295.41 as my trigger. I had 295.41 as my trigger because it's a major support level in my case for puts. So if I'm looking at SPY, we bounced near 295.42. And if I go back and look at the previous days, that 295.42 range, that 295.42.41, range actually showed some sort of, resistance in the past and showed some sort of support as price, came down to bounce or as price, was going up. So that level, that range was tested multiple times. I'm looking for where it was tested. I'm looking for where levels are tested multiple times, whether it's, acting as a form of resistance or acting as a form of support. It's whichever side I'm looking, whichever side of the levels I'm looking at taking. My trigger level for SPY calls will be 295.77. So right now SPY closed out at 295.66. So if it opened up at 295.77 and held, then I'll take calls. If it opened up and rejected under 295.77 and went to 295.41 and held, I will take puts. Do you buy one and hold it as long as it keeps breaking levels? So that's it. Again, Trader King, that's it all depends on how you trade and how your size is. Me, normally when I'm trading SPY, my starter position on SPY is 2 contracts. Because if you know how SPY doesn't move so violently compared to other stocks. Like, you may hear a trader say, oh, I stay away from SPY because like it just moves too crazy. It doesn't move crazy. And actually when SPY drops, like, you don't lose as much as you think you would if you're playing, close to at the money or in the money. And if SPY comes back, you make that money back just as fast. So I like to take 2 contracts just in case, one target hits and let's say it struggles to confirm and then confirms, after. I would then, sell a contract at that first target and then let the last one ride to see if we can hit the remaining targets. But let's say I'm taking 1 contract, then I would, once we approach our first target, you would have to monitor your contract carefully. And if that target can hold, your contract is good, let it ride. If that target rejects, that's where you keep your stop loss ready. You can keep your stop loss just under that target as well. So if that target hits and rejects, you can sell, if it doesn't reclaim. You don't have to wait for your trigger level. Some people can wait for their trigger level, but I like to say if you're in profits and your first target hits, take it and then look back at your trigger level to see if price comes back down, if it got rejected at your target, if it comes back down to your trigger level and holds. Because if it holds, what would you then do if it holds your trigger level? Who could answer that? If SPY came back down from my first target and went back to my trigger level and held, what would you do? Re-enter. Yes. Rinse and repeat. So when you buy contracts, do you buy one? Yes, Trader King. That's why, again, I'm starting this account or this challenge with $2,000 because that will be a nice size to play at the money and in the money on SPY with, a good more than 1 contract. But right now, like, SPY does seem expensive only because, IV is jacked up. Once IV settles down, then SPY becomes way more cheaper, like $100, $200 at the money, in the money, sometimes 300. Yeah, SPY. Yeah, you guys trading every day for the 90. Yes, I will, Elias. I will. And if everything goes good after that, like, I'll probably just make it a routine. But I mean, so far the watch list is doing nice. But if the live trading goes good and I can keep it up, then I'll try and make it a daily thing. But let's get tickers from you guys to chart Amazon. I'm gonna chart Amazon first. If it's a hard ticker to chart, normally, like, so I like to, since I don't want to stress myself out, I don't like to stress myself out when I trade. If I can't chart it on my watch list, or like if I can't get levels on it, or if it's hard to get levels on it, I'll just leave the ticker alone and look for another ticker. I don't like to try and stress myself and force a level to, appear or something. If I can't see something clearly, or if it didn't test clearly, then I would essentially leave it alone. But let's look at Amazon. Let's look at Amazon. Well, since I've been trading for a long time, I'm answering this question quick. Since I've been trading for a long time, I kind of have a gist of tickers that I like to trade. So I know SPY is one of them, and I know Apple is another one. Tesla, AMD, Facebook, Microsoft, EA. I like big cap tickers. You know, tickers that are volatile, that can move nicely. TTD, UNH, RH. I like tickers like those. Be safe out there, Justin. Be safe out there. Let's chart this. So for Amazon, what do you guys want to start with? Calls or put side? Calls. Those are perma bulls. Let's see. Calls. Okay. Now, understand Amazon is very, very, very volatile. But let's see if this works. Because I'll pull up the EMAs after I get my levels and see if I get buy signals and at what level I get a buy signal. So we have 2438. Okay. So I'm writing down 2438. I don't really worry about the cents too much because Amazon is too fucking volatile. The cents won't even matter. So 2438. Can anybody tell me why I wrote down 2438? I may have to edit it. Yep, we're going back right now. I'm going back, and I may have to edit to what? What may I have to change it to, guys? Exactly. Exactly. So I'm gonna change it to that right now. Let's just go back a couple more days. I want to be as accurate as possible when it comes to Amazon, knowing how volatile it is. I do see some resistance here, so it makes sense though. That's $9 away, so that makes sense. Okay, so that makes sense. That 2440, that 2440 made sense. 2440 made sense. So let me see. Think about that. 2444. Does anybody know Amazon's ATR? Yeah, that'll be my trick. On a normal day. Okay, Amazon. Fuck. Okay. 448. For again, Amazon's probably printing new all-time highs too, huh? Am I wrong? Am I right? It will make sense to hold Amazon puts, but let's see. So my trigger level is 2440. My first target, 24.48. 57, if we want to be accurate. 24.48, 57, if you want to be, you know, on point on a T. I may have to go. Is this a 90 day? Fuck, and I'm on a 90 day. Fuck me. I might have to go out further. 180 day. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go out on a 180 day. Hold on, let it update. Okay. Okay. Perfect. 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 And see how this. Made sense. At what strike? See, that's. I will tell you. Let me get into that after. Let me get into that after. I'm gonna have to update my first price target level to what, guys? From 24.48 to what? Correct. And why am I doing that? Because looking at, yes, it rejected previously too. Around it, yep. And it's more recent too. Right here, a lot. It tested that level a lot, consolidated a lot. So, okay. All right. And then we'll get 449 if we can break above that. It makes sense. And then if we can break above that, 452. Like 453. How much was that? 40, not even. Fuck. Okay. Um, we could probably do 457. 456. Yeah. Like 456, 64. And then we can do 459.82. 462.26. So 491. Is this really? Holy shit. Wow. Four, nah, 469. Yeah. 2469. Oh, 5. 2471, 27. 2173. 2171. 2471. 2475. Is that enough, or you guys want more levels to the upside, or is that enough? All right. So my trigger level on Amazon would be 2440. I would look for my first target to be 24, 46, 45, 24, 49, 45, 24, 53, 14, 24, 56, 64, 24, 59, 82, 24, 62, 36, 24, 64, 91, 24, 69, 05, 247107 and 247573. Now what we're going to do is pull up our EMAs on this, and we're going to see at what point do we get our buy signal on Amazon at these levels if they trigger to the upside. So move average. Let me add these moving exponential. 9 is going to be green. This is going to be orange. This is going to be red. So I just want to show you guys the combination of the EMA strategy as well as the watch list levels, just to show you how they correlate and go hand in hand. Okay, so we said our trigger level was what, guys? 2440, correct? Or can you guys hear me, or did I cut out? Okay, so our trigger level was what? 2440, correct? So looking at 2440. Boom. So 2440, what does that do to our EMAs? What would that do with price? Just looking at that, that will cause price to go and test above that 21 EMA, correct? So that will let us know that, okay, support has formed and a buy signal may be forming, but we need that 2440 level, or that on that 21 EMA to hold, to, in other words, bring momentum to cause that buy signal to happen. Because as you guys know, as support builds, that momentum happens, bulls step in, buy it up, it goes up. So if we can hold above 2440, our first target in mind is 2446. Let's go to 2446. That'll be somewhere around here. Now, that puts us to test what? The 55 EMA. correct? So if now we test that 55 EMA and price broke above it, what does that mean? Because that 55 EMA is even showing 24.44. So our level to the upside is valid. That target level is valid. It's breaking a resistance. Yes, because that 46 is just above that 55 EMA 44. So if we broke above it, so if we broke above it, that will mean that we've broken above our EMA and we're breaking a resistance as far as the intraday support and resistance levels go for our EMAs. And then on top of that, what happens to our overall 9 and 21? What's going on down here while price is sitting at this 55 EMA? That cross is happening, and what's our 9 doing? What is it getting ready to do? Cross up, break through that 21, and break through that 55, so long as price can hold above that 55 EMA. And once we get that cross above, what does that tell us? Buy signal. Not uptrend, but buy signal. What are we doing right now? What would this support and everything show us right now based off of this sell signal we got? That we will be coming off of what? A downtrend, right? What trend will we be coming off of? The downtrend, correct. So if we can break through that downtrend, that lets us know, okay, momentum is coming. And if we get a buy signal, that's just going to, cause us to have some hard momentum because we're breaking out of a downtrend. So if we can break out of a downtrend, our next level, 24.49, which is right around, where is that? Like around here. And that's a resistance area. And that's still well above that 55 EMA. Now, again, while price was above that 55 EMA at 24.46, as it's pushing up to 24.49, what happens when price starts to push up? That 9 EMA starts to follow it, correct? So that 9 EMA will just keep trailing up, catching up to SPY or catching up to the price. And what happens when price starts to sit on top of the 9 EMA? As you get your buy signal, what happens when price sits on top of the 9 EMA? Who can answer that? Your uptrend, correct? Like it's your uptrend, it's showing momentum, and you're pretty much, your buy signal is intact. Your buy signal is confirmed. Once price is sitting well above that 9 EMA, it'll continue an uptrend. So our next level in mind for the upside would be 24.53.14. So where's that? 24.53.14 is somewhere around there. Now that puts us well at a buy signal, because I believe probably in the past we've gotten a buy signal around there. Yeah, we were coming off of an uptrend around there actually. So that will put us back in an uptrend, so to speak, and like in an uptrend bounce, because if I draw a trend line, it'll go right back in that trend, and then it'll confirm that uptrend. Our next level would be 24.56, so that would be around there. Breaking a resistance, correct? Next level, 24.59. That major resistance, somewhere around there. And then 24.62. Yep, that all makes sense because it even bounced there near 24.62. See, you can use these for multiple things. That when you create your levels, you can take them for scalping if it's a choppy day. You can take them, again, like I said in our slides, for monitoring your positions or guiding your positions. So once you've taken your calls at your trigger level, you then look at your next level above and say to yourself, okay, I'm going to ride my call to this target level above. If price can break this target level above and hold it, then I'm going to hold my call and ride it to the next target level above, because I would have known that that target that we've just broken is a resistance level that I charted for intraday. And it's tested that level multiple times. And I know that if it tests that level multiple times and broke above it, then we can confirm that it can push to the next level above. Because once it tests a resistance and breaks above, that resistance turns into a support. So you just hold your call and wait for the next target level to be met above. Now, say you were in your call from your trigger level and your first target was met, yes, and now your second target was met, yes, but it didn't break above. You would then sell your position. You can either, if you want to risk it, wait for, again, that first target to try and be met and bounce, because again, those are resistance levels that we're charting for our calls above. So the resistance turns to support. So that first target could bounce, or it may not bounce and break through. And if it breaks through, then you would eventually take a loss. So what I like to do is I like to take my profits when I have them. So if my first target is met and we hold, okay, I'll let my position ride. If my second target is met, but we don't hold it, I'm taking my profits. And I'll just either re-enter, or if I'm done for the day, I'm done for the day. And on Amazon, you would have made a lot, from a target to the next, in like 10, 12 bucks. So you really wouldn't need much. You could really scalp Amazon if you really wanted to with these levels. I would probably scalp Amazon. I would wait for the level to break and hold first, and then try and take it to the next level. I wouldn't hold a whole full position, throughout, because that data is disgusting. I would chart Amazon for puts, but I do want to get more tickers in before this class does end. But so far, do you guys understand how I'm getting my levels? So if I told you guys to go and practice this, you guys will understand how to get your levels, and how, like, if you see, say, like, this resistance level happen and then you don't see anything else for that day, you go back in time to see if that level tested multiple times. You guys understand that? Good, because it's very crucial that you guys know to always go back in time to see if that level tested. Because if you're dealing with a range or a channel, 9 times out of 10, that level tested back in time, which is why you're in that channel. And until you test the levels to break out, you're going to remain in that channel. So those are crucial to hold. Any other tickers? Try to not give me big, crazy volatile tickers, just to, because I don't want to make it too long. AMD, okay, so from AMD, Tesla, or URI, which one? Okay, so AMD or Tesla, which one? Holy shit. There goes Danny with pen. Okay, we'll do AMD and then we'll do Tesla. So small account, big account, like that. Yeah. Are we charting both calls and puts just for next week to see how it goes for both of them? Or okay, we could do that. We can do that. I mean, I want to make sure you guys are okay with that, because I can if you guys want to. I don't want to do something that you guys don't want me to do. We'll start with AMD since it's the cheapest. Wow, this thing works so crazy. Ignore this. I tried to do something. All right, so let's chart this. Where are those blue lines? That's something that I'm actually, I'll tell you guys now, I'm probably going to look to, once we have the full course developed, I'll probably add that in the course as like a special treat, so to speak. But it's a strategy that I'm trying to work on and perfect. So far, I'm getting it down packed, but like, I just want to make sure it's down. But those blue lines that were there previously, that strategy is called the Wolf Wave strategy. So it tells you what wave. It's kind of like your Elliott wave, but less complicated. So it tells you what trend the stock is in, and if it holds that trend, where it's gonna go. And after that, if it, once that trend is up, if it hits that resistance point and then rejects, where the next trend is. I mean, I can show you guys on AMD where it's gonna go before I do this. You guys want me to show you how it works? Not show you how it fully works, but just try and chart it out real quick. All right, let me see. I'm going a bit off topic, but let me show you guys. So I'm using a 90-day, 4-hour, boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, let's see. So AMD should bounce probably near here. Hold on. Okay. So what I'm predicting on AMD, and these lines will probably update just to fix them up because obviously price has to follow it. But I'm expecting AMD to probably bottom out and at worst case bounce near 53. But it's looking like it's bottomed out here for right now, and it's probably going to push up higher. Probably may have to get one more support test and push up higher. That's that. I don't want to explain too much on it because like I don't want to confuse you guys or anything. You know, I'm still working on it myself. It's still in the works. Well, let's get these levels. You change your TO2 up. It is, Danny. Is my TO wrong or something or what? Oh wait, hold on. Ninja, did you just bless us again? Hold on. I want to run this right now, but I don't want to fuck up anything. Hold on. Ninja, send that to the chat. Did you just make my life so much more easier? And you know what wolf waves are? You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. So you know what I'm trying to do, right, Ninja? You know exactly what I'm trying to do, right? Exactly. Yes. He knows what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to perfect it before I even, try and teach it and how it works and how to follow it. Because that one does require patience too, because sometimes like it may work for you, sometimes it may not work for you because news can happen. But let's get these levels for AMD. Chop, 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 chop. Let's remove. Thank you. Thank you for that. You're a lifesaver. 55.17. Okay, so everybody needs to break above. Trigger level will be who can tell me what AMD's trigger level will be? This is even looking at the 4 hour. Let me go back down. Let me go back down. It's probably still right too. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, to be safe, 55.47 to be safe because it is choppy. So if we want that extra confirmation, 55.47 I would say would be my ideal trigger level. And we could see 55.62. Again, that 55.62 is probably going to be that breakout level too. Probably not. Okay, 55.74. Let's see if that does. No, this is like all-time highs on AMD. Okay, so I would have to focus just right here for calls. So we're gonna have some chop unless there's news or something. All right, so I'm gonna have to do this incrementally. So 55.62, 55.79. 55.95. 56.10. 56.25. I'm gonna add in 56.35 only because that's a Fibonacci level. So I'm gonna keep with that level. I'll probably highlight that like red or something like that, or I'll probably set that alert 56.35 then 56.36 just to keep remind myself that, okay, that's a Fibonacci level. And then 56. If we can break above that, then I think we could, if we could break above this 56.35, I would probably take this 56.46 in just cause to see if there may show some resistance. But I think if we could break above that 56.30 level, we could probably have some momentum to push. But fuck, that's all-time highs. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Okay. So 56.46. What else? It's 665. 688. 56.88. Let's just say 57.12. Mm, 57.29. 57.59. 57.81. Okay. 58.03. I'll stop. I'll stop here at 58.24. So that's for calls. Which time frame do you use to pick fib levels as the levels that differ for each time frame? These are automatic. These Fibonacci levels are automatic. Okay, so we have our call side. Let me reiterate them real quick for you guys. All right. So our trigger level for AMD is 55.47 for calls. Trigger level for calls on AMD is 55.47. Targets in mind, 55.62, 55.79, 55.95, 56.10, 56.25, 56.35, 56.46, 56.65, 56.88, 57.12, 57.29, 57.59, 57.81, 58.03, and 58.24. And AMD's ATR is probably $3, but I know it can go stupid sometimes. Let's get puts now real quick. A break below. As I get these levels, I'm gonna call them out, and then you guys write them down. Will that work, or do you guys just want me to chart them and then say them afterwards? Or do you guys want me to do this one? Yeah, I'll say it a little slower. Sorry. It's just when I start to say numbers like that, my stock personality starts to come out, and I start to talk fast. Yes, I'm gonna read all the questions. There's questions. Let me see. Why is 295? Oh, we've already went over that though. Okay. 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 Got you. Got you. So Raphael said, Jay, can you please read all the questions when asked? Because this class will be posted for future students, and I don't think on recorded you can see the chat, so they would never know what's asked and when he's answering. For sure. I'll read all the questions for future references. Do you guys want me to repeat AMD call levels? Okay. My trigger level for AMD is okay. No. All right. I'll do puts. If somebody has the call levels for AMD, then since North said do puts, drop the call levels right now in the chat. And if not, you guys better tell me to do the call levels, or I'll start to do puts. All right. 54.44. Okay. $54.24. $54.09. $53.96. $53.80. Let me see. Yeah, that makes sense. Why? 76. 53.76, not 80. Um, 62. Yeah, it looks. Okay. 53.50. I'll cap it there, and then obviously 53.36. I look at that. I look at the Fibonacci level like that as like a free level, so to speak. And then we bounced 53.12. Makes sense. Makes sense. Like 53.17. Yeah. And then call it like 53.02. AMD has a lot of support built to the downside. A lot of support. 52.96. 52.88. 52.73. 52.61. 52.57. Nah. Actually, I might replace that 61 with 57. Okay. 52.35. I'll cap it here at 52.35. All right. So my levels for the downside on AMD. My trigger alert for puts would be 54.98. My targets would be 54.77, 54.66, 54.44, 54.24, 54.09, 53.96, 53.76, 53.50, 53.36, 53.17, 53.02, 52.88, 52.73, 52.57, and 52.35. You guys got all that? Perfect. Now, assuming that the market gapped up or down tomorrow, either side of these alerts will trigger unless the market opens sideways, like opens literally where we're at. Then if it opens where we're at, then that'll be perfect. You guys can then revert to these alerts. But let's do Tesla was next, correct? And again, these levels all will make sense if you guys did it lag the whole thing or oh yeah, it lagged after the levels. I didn't say much important, but I said these levels will correlate and add up with the rest of your indicators that you add. They will all make sense, such as the Fibonacci or the EMAs. So if you add in your EMAs in these levels, they will all make sense when they start to trigger and go off. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I said. Now we're going to chart Tesla. But real quick before we do Tesla, would you guys want me to run the EMAs on AMD just to see, or are you guys okay with that? Would you guys run it on your own? All right. Someone's asking for it. So you guys are okay? I need more answers, not just 3 people. It's about How many people in here? 48 people in here. All right, you guys are good. For sure. Um, I'll do it for clarity. I'll do it for clarity. So remember our trigger level for puts? 15-minute, 30-day. Sometimes if I need more data, I'll go out on the 90-day like I did for SPY. Or I think it was, yeah, it was for SPY. So now our trigger level for puts was what, guys? On AMD. 54.98. So let's look at where 54.98 is. What's that? So okay, before you guys get confused, let me tell you guys my settings, because yes, these EMAs are not, no, you know what? Let me just change the colors to what you guys are used to, because it will make no sense to switch it up. Let me change the colors back. Okay. All right. So what was our trigger? 54.98, correct? Now, looking at our EMAs, what is this? What is this, guys? What EMA is this? And if prices are 55, correct? And if price is under that 55, what is it telling us? Downtrend, correct? And as we break through these EMAs, what are these 221 and 9? What do they now act as? If we get under this 55, resistance, correct? So now that's telling us we're going into a downtrend. So that is exactly why I said if we can break under 54, what was it, 54.98 and hold, then we take puts, because that's our 55 DMA, and that'll turn us into a sell signal, because our 9 will cross under our 21, and then it'll eventually cross under that 55 and give us a sell signal. And that first target level was what, around 54.77. It only makes sense because that, if we look at previous trading sessions, price was testing this level multiple times. And if we're coming off of this downtrend here, or if we're coming off of a sell-off here, off of this rejection, this level will act as a support for us. So if we can break through that 54.77 level, our next incremental support level that we're seeing tested many times, again, would have been that 54.66 level. Because if we would have to have gone back in time a little bit more to see that 54.66 level get tested a couple of times. I think it's like around here. Yeah, like around here. After that rejection, around there, you'll get a nice test around here, because this level was tested a couple of times. It bounced and got rejected. It always makes sense. Yeah, like the EMA crosses correlates with the levels, and it's mind-boggling how it works, but it works. So if you guys are trading with your levels and you just want to use your EMAs for confirmation, boom. Or if you're using your EMAs or if you're trading with your EMAs for confirmation and you just want to look at, your next upcoming levels, you have that ready already. So that's a good question. For Trader King asked for AMD, If the stock opens near 54.98, would you take a trade as soon as the market opens and it breaks 54.98? How long would you wait to see the direction of the stock? So if you have been trading the market for a while, you would know that at the open for every single time, you always either have that momentum rush. What I like to do is I like to wait for that momentum rush to settle. So I would know, okay, if we open and we start running, we may run for a while, but we have to come back down at some point. We have to reject and level out and stable out. So, there may be some rejection. Or if we open up and there's a huge sell-off, I have to remember there may be some type of support that can, form during this sell-off, which will cause us to bounce, to, form some sort of, retracement, or some traders like to say dead cat bounce, to test the resistance level to see if we can break through that to, revert the downtrend or reject and continue in the downtrend. So I like to wait, it depends on how the market is moving. If the market is moving really fast and there's a lot of volume, then I'm not going to wait too long. I'll probably wait like a minute or 2 or 5 minutes or so to see what's going to happen. Maybe 10 minutes at most. But if the market's really slow opening off, then I'll give it, like 10 minutes, maybe. Yeah, like 5 to 10 minutes. That's pretty good. I think a 5 to 10 minute on a slow day is a good wait. But ideally for me, if I'm watching this on a 5 minute, I want the next candle to, like I said, an example, I want that next candle to open under my level or above my trigger level, under or above. So however long that takes to confirm. Sometimes it may take like an hour, 2 hours to confirm because you may get those fake outs. And yes, those fake outs can happen, but that's why you want to wait for that level to hold. Because if that level holds and a fake out happens, then it's just there may be no volume that day. But that level holding, did make sense for you to take that trade. So it's not that the strategy didn't work. It's just there's probably no volume that day, because we know if price is under 54.98, it'll cause a sell off unless there's no volume to cause a sell off, which would just make it trade sideways, or unless news comes out and then says fuck it, we're just gonna go up. It's the same thing for calls on our trigger levels for calls. Our trigger level was 55.47. We're well. What is this, guys? Their gap, yes, and that's showing us an uptrend. So if we're taking calls, we know, okay, we're already coming off of an uptrend. So the uptrend is still intact so long as we're holding above our 9 EMA. So all I'm waiting for is now that overall resistance to be broken to, continue that uptrend with some nice momentum to it. And if that can happen, so all I would need is for price to ride my 9 EMA. And if we can ride that 9 EMA, that'll tell us we're in that uptrend. And if we're in that uptrend, we're going to start hitting our next upcoming levels to the upside. This is actually the last class. Today is the last day. Next class is going to be with Rod. Yeah, this is our last class with me. Sadly, not. Don't be sad. I'm still gonna be in chat. I have my week, but this is all that I have to teach, bro. How to use. DM me on my Jay the Trader account, not my Sorry I Tried. Those DMs are fucking broken on that account. DM me on my trading account. I can get to those way faster, and I can follow back way faster on that account too. I hope you guys did enjoy this whole week session with me though. Like I tried to bring you guys all the knowledge that I use as far as strategies goes to trade the market and why I take my positions, so you guys don't think I just train blindly. I'll be trading on his Zoom. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can use his watch list and it does work for you guys. I know for a fact you guys will master this watch list and be able to mark it down, and once that happens, like you guys will be able to pretty much trade on your own. All you need to do is just find the ticker you like. Once you find the ticker you like, again, you're not really showing a bias there. You're only liking the ticker because the name around it, like Facebook, Tesla. So all you need to do is go into that trade with no bias. No bias meaning you're just going to create your levels for both sides, not just one side. So whichever side triggers, you take it. And then you're going to follow your EMA, which doesn't create a bias for you. It just literally tells you based off of what price is doing, what signal you're going to get, and you're going to take it and it's going to work. So using those two strategies, you're pretty much solid. You can be a lone trader. You don't really have to rely too much on signals group. Yes, the signals group can help. And I would even advise, if you guys are taking Kev signals, to chart them yourselves and create levels around them, just to get out when you want to get out, and not necessarily, because I know there people have complained about Kevin not alerting when he gets out. This, you guys understanding when the resistance is coming, and what levels are up next, you guys knowing that now will give you guys that tool to understand when to get out. And sometimes you guys may even exit before Kevin does, so you guys may profit before he does, or profit more, and he may not have gotten out, at the perfect time. So he may either take a loss overall while you guys have already exited out early, or, take a smaller profit than you guys. Yes, it's better to be in the loss from your own call outs than from someone else. The emotional effect is different, and it's just, I mean, it would pretty much be your fault to take a loss from someone else's call outs, because you could have took the initiative to do the due diligence yourself, but you didn't. But now that you guys have the arsenal and the strategies to be able to do your own due diligence, there should be no excuse to take the time out of your day. If you see a signal that Kevin posted, chart it out. If you see a trade you like, if you see a ticker that's running, don't chase it. Just chart it. That's all you have to do. If it hit an all-time high, go on a larger time frame. Go on that 90-day time frame. Look for the upcoming levels above it. See if there's any levels above it. If there's levels above it, chart it out and wait for it to hold. Wait for it to trigger. If it doesn't trigger, don't take it, regardless if it's at an all-time high, because 9 times out of 10, it'll probably sell off and then reclaim. So again, this will really help you guys. And just like how you guys are seeing nice results with the EMA strategy, I'm pretty sure you guys will see even better results and way more accurate results incorporating the levels with it. So how do you build the watch list? I mean, we've pretty much just built a mini watch list right now. AMD, Tesla, Amazon. So all you have to do is just look at the tickers you like. So my watch list could consist of SPY, AMD, Facebook, and ZM. Now that I have those on my watch list, what am I going to do after that? I'm going to now get my levels on all those tickers. This is why I say charting takes time. But now I'm going to get all my levels on those tickers, but I'm going to do that at 2:30 in the morning, because that's when price updates. You guys can do this after you guys don't have to do this exactly at 2:30 in the morning. You can do it, before 6:30 or before, the market opens for you guys, but you want to get your levels in before the market opens, just to, get that head start. But again, you just get a good amount of tickers that you like. 4 tickers is enough, because you see, the amount of time it takes to get each level and how far back you have to go sometimes. So it's pretty time excruciating. So like about 4 tickers, get your levels, and boom, you're set for the next day. All you have to do is wait for that next day to come and wait for your levels to trigger. Whichever side triggers, you take it and you trade according to your levels. Again, trading is all a psychological game. It's a psychological game. So you can question yourself, like, do these levels really make sense? How come he's getting these levels? It's a psychological game. I can't fully explain it, because I didn't take psychology classes, unfortunately, but I obviously want to in the future. But like, it's a psychological game. And I feel like if anybody here has taken psychology or knows anything around psychology, you guys can, so to speak, have an advantage in the markets, because you'll understand the psychological sense of, each trader. Got it. But you said you'd be on Trent. So every morning, Rafael, Trent will post his Zoom in a chat. So I'll just join that Zoom and I'll talk there. So it'll be fine if I just set the alerts and do other shit, not look at the screen all day. Kerr, what do you mean? I don't want to fully answer that. What do you mean, Sun Min? Elaborate on that so I can answer that better for you. So you mean by like, oh yes, 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 yes. So don't you know how you guys see me just pop up in the chat here and there? I pop up in the chat, with my levels and with my screenshots of, me talking about levels hitting. And that's only because they triggered and they hit. So I pop up when they trigger and they hit. So I could be doing something else, with my day while watching obviously the markets here and there, because you obviously want to monitor your positions. You don't ever want to let your position just go blindly. Um, but while watching here and there, your levels will, if your trigger for calls go and you get a target that hits and there's strong enough momentum, your next target will most likely hit, and that alert will trigger. Mhm, mhm, mhm. So like, and so you guys, as far as your trigger goes, and it not holding, let's say you had your alert set for your trigger and it went off, and let's say your trigger didn't hold, just reset the level again. Just reset that trigger again. That's all you have to do is reset it again and wait for it to trigger. If it triggers and it holds this time, you're straight. Just wait for the rest of your triggers above to trigger, or the rest of your triggers below to go off. And it's literally easy, smooth, simple sailing and trading. Like that's what when I first started, I told you guys I like to keep my trading simple and smooth as possible. I don't like to complicate my trading because it too much noise. It starts to make a trader do the extra and the most and chase and take bad trades. But the more simplified you keep your trading while still keeping an arsenal of strategies just in case for those times, the better you'll get at trading in the long run. So if let's say you guys are trying to use a breakout strategy to take a trade, but you didn't see it happening, you could have then been like, okay, how come this breakout isn't happening? What's going on? You could have pulled up your other strategy arsenal, your EMA, and look at your EMAs and see where your EMAs are showing you. Oh, okay, I see that my EMAs are trying to test an EMA, a resistance EMA, and trying to break above it. So if it can break above it and hold, then I'll know that this breakout strategy that I'm looking at will actually, take off based off of this confirmation on my EMA. I'll do Tesla right now because I did promise Tesla. I thought I did Tesla. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'll do it right now. If it loads. You know what? Is it okay if I just do it afterwards and then post it in class chatter just to make sure, it doesn't cut out in the recording? Yeah, so I'll just cut it short here, guys. So again, I had fun with this whole session, and I do hope to hear you guys progress in the future, with this strategy. Like I look forward to, in fact, trading with some of you guys as well in Trent's Zoom. Like I can't explain to you guys how much I appreciate you guys giving me the time of day to literally sit down and show you guys how I trade, because it's really risky to look at another trader and follow what another trader is telling you. You want to be confident that that trader's what they're telling you is right and it's working. And I can't thank you guys enough for allowing me to show you guys what I'm doing that's right and that's working, and you guys being able to implement it. So safe trading. Have a nice, wonderful day and a wonderful holiday tomorrow. And let's be in this market Tuesday. Also, do look at AMD and SPY because we did chart that. We did chart that. So let's see Tuesday if whichever alerts go off. I want you guys to at me in the chat on Tuesday, whichever alerts went off. But if the market opens up sideways, then we know, okay, these levels, since we charted them, this is pretty much some free plays. I can take these trades if I really, 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 really want to, we have the levels. So yeah. I mean, this is like a family. I see you guys as a family to me. So, never be afraid to ask me any questions. Never be afraid to spam me, hit me up. Like I'll answer you guys. Don't think I'll just look at you guys and just look the other way. Nah, I'll answer you guys. Any question will be answered. God bless you guys too. DMs on Discord. No, they're broken. I have like over 2,000. I can't. I want to so bad. Like I want to take time out of the day to just sit back and answer all of them. But honestly, guys, let me type the best way to reach me. Like literally the best way to reach me. It's my trading account. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I try and get, because I know Kevin and Mahir really can't get to it a lot, especially Kevin. Mahir, he has a moving situation that he's taking care of with his family. So I try and, take the torch and get to all of you guys as much as I can. But it's kind of impossible. But I mean, we have to do it because, we sort of have to step up to the plate, so to speak. So yeah, we'll get to all of you guys while we can. We are only human. You have to remember that. But what is Rod going to cover? Let me go check. Let me check actually. Let me check. Rod is going to cover. So his is week 4. He's going to cover the TTM squeeze, how this is an edge in the market. He's going to cover how to look for and dissect for proper tickers, setups to trade, recognition combined with the squeeze, uh, more TTM bar recognition, TTM squeeze on multiple time frames, how to properly use different time frames with the squeeze. Well, he's going to be going over a lot. And you guys can just add that strategy with the EMAs, with Kevin's, and you guys will be fucking snipers. Like, you guys will be taking trades, and people will honestly ask you, how come you took that trade? Because they wouldn't see what you guys seen. And then once they understand why you take that trade, they're going to be at your knees like, oh my God, teach me everything, And I want you guys to teach them what you guys know, because that's the only way to make this information valuable is if you spread it. If you hide the information, it's not going to be valuable at all. Trust me. This is why I'm willing to give and talk about all the information and knowledge that I retained in the stock market and pass it along. So let me stop preaching. I'm like beating a dead horse. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this here. Take care. Stay safe. Let's eat on Tuesday. Take it easy, guys.